first, I want to just show you what we're going to be talking about. This is the actual bill. All 2,702 pages. That's right, 2,702 pages. It's insane. You can't sit and read this bill. It is ridiculously long. But here it is, the new infrastructure bill, the bipartisan infrastructure bill. It is massive. Look at this, 2,702 pages. I mean, it is insane, this thing. It's very small. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. So, I mean, it is ridiculous. I just was scrolling. It's 18 pages of just telling you what's in the bill. What's in the bill. It's 18 pages of just the context here. Just, letting you know what's going to be in it. Everything from rails to bridges to everything. But we're going to get into it. Thankfully, I've got an article that sums it up for us. And then I want to bring in some other things that pertained to the bill. Anyway, this is from the Washington Examiner. Here's what's in House Democrats' multi-trillion-dollar infrastructure and social spending package.
I trusted our governor. I trusted.
Cancel that. All right. Sorry about that. All right. So, yeah, this is crazy because everyone's talking about this infrastructure bill, which is $1.3 trillion, but they're not even talking about that there's two bills. It's two. One is for $1.3 trillion. The other, the social spending package, is over $3 trillion. This is crazy. They are just spending money like they own the money tree that they could just pick money off of. I mean, you know what? Before I even show you this, I want to show you guys. This is actually happening. The U.S. government will run out of money by October 18th. Treasury Secretary says they're running out of money. There's probably so many government programs that have been around forever because that's the best way to keep going, right? You just start a government program and you never end. You just keep getting funded, even if it's makes absolutely no sense and doesn't do anything. It doesn't work at all. Government programs. Yeah, the government is running out of money, while at the same time telling you that you need to pay for their plan because clearly they have it in and together, right? Wow. They are running out of money. House Democrats are fighting hard to pass let me stop this real quick, a multi-trillion-dollar reconciliation package full of new spending and tax measures. While the exact scope and funding of the bill are not yet finalized, here are highlights of what Democrats have laid out in legislation at the committee level this week. Now, I'm about to read these to you. It's not everything. As I said, it's 2,000 pages long, 2,700 pages long. Crazy. I don't agree with everything, but I also do agree with some things, right? Not all of this is actually bad. You think Democrats like, oh man, what is it going to be? It's like, no. There's some good things in this bill. Some of these things I feel like we do need. I'm down to have my taxpayer dollars go towards actual infrastructure, right? I'm cool with that. I think that's where our tax dollars should go. But there's so much more. Anyway, let's get into it. Workplace leave. Democrats hope to create the country's first federal leave program. They are proposing up to 12 weeks of universal paid family and medical leave to workers nationwide. The program would be rolled out over the next decade and include 12 weeks leave for those who suffer personal illness. The program would expand upon requirements for employers under the Family and Medical Leave Act. Okay, I can see that. A lot of these things, though, you got to be careful from the people who take advantage of them. But on the surface level, that seems right. Retirement. The legislation would mandate certain employers who do not currently have workers enrolled in employer-sponsored retirement plans automatically enroll them in individual retirement accounts or 401k type plans. See, now this I have a feeling I don't understand as much as I would like to, because that I feel like there's something wrong with forcing people to do that. Doesn't the government hold on to that money until I don't know too much about 401ks. I've never had one myself. I've never worked in an environment where this would have applied to me. Retirement accounts. I don't know. I don't trust it when they force people to do things. Yeah, I don't like mandates. I'm against mandates. Democrats also want to make the retirement savings contribution credit for low-income Americans who don't make enough to pay taxes, known as the Saviors Credit, refundable. The current iteration of the Saviors Credit is non-refundable, which means it can only be used to reduce the earner's tax liability to zero. That sounds an awful lot like welfare. Welfare state. Get money from the government. Stay hooked to the government's teat. Yeah, I don't like that kind of stuff either. I think ever since they implemented a lot of welfare laws in the 70s, a lot of nuclear family things from different people in society have fallen down and are stuck in a rut. Of course, they blame the patriarchy and systemic racism and all these things instead of blaming themselves and blaming the government who put them in that situation in the first place. Because that's where the government wants everybody. Requiring them, needing them. Anyway, continuing on, healthcare. The Democratic package also hopes to add dental, vision, and hearing benefits to traditional Medicare. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. Now, dental is one of those things that I've grown up to realize that you got to take care of your teeth. If you don't take care of your teeth, why am I going to have to pay for your teeth? Okay? Seriously, brush your teeth. Take care of your teeth. Take care of your health. Take care of your body, right? I don't like having to pay for someone's anything if it could have been prevented by them working a little bit on their own health, right? There comes a point where, and I don't think I'm alone in this, and these Democrats just, healthcare is a right. I mean, basic healthcare maybe. If you break your leg, sure, that's an accident, and I can see that being taken care of, right? But that's where it ends. After a certain point, certain things you got to do because it ties directly to personal accountability and personal responsibility for your own body. Dental? Why should I pay for someone's bad teeth when they never brushed their teeth and lost all of them? Right? Now, if it was a car accident and their teeth got knocked out, that's a different story. But if they rotted out and suddenly that's thousands of dollars for one tooth. Imagine a whole mouthful / society of people that don't care about especially when the government's like, whatever, we'll just use this taxpayer money to help you fix your teeth. Sorry, I'm so fed up with this universal healthcare thing that people, well, look at Sweden. So Sweden's got private healthcare also. You can get private healthcare, and their base healthcare doesn't cover everything. It's the base things. So if you want to talk about Sweden, learn what's going on in Sweden instead of just blindly picking and choosing. It's very annoying. Looking at you, Bernie Sanders. Anyway, let me just finish even the first part of healthcare because it's just so frustrating. Dental coverage is popular among those who use Medicare Advantage, with about 94% of enrollees opting for it. However, only an estimated 47% of all Medicare beneficiaries don't have dental care covered. Another thing that bugs me about dental care? So my wife had dental insurance through her company that she worked for a little bit, and it was ending, and I was getting like a routine dentist thing, whatever. I went in, and they were like, oh, it actually ended, her dental plan ended, so you have to, so they were breaking down all of the dollars for me, right? It's X amount if you have insurance, and insurance pays X amount. But if you don't have insurance, it's like 5 times the amount that the insurance companies actually pay, not what you pay out of pocket. So for example, a teeth cleaning, right? If you have insurance, you pay $50. and the insurance pays the rest of it, say $200, right? But if you don't have insurance, it costs $500 for the exact same procedure that the insurance company is paying $200 for. So they're actually upcharging you for not having insurance. That's messed up. Anyway, can't stand that. Continuing on, extends Obamacare subsidies that reduce the amount enrollees pay to 8.5% or less of their income. Okay, helping people out that can't afford stuff, that's fine. Invests $190 billion to increase access to home-based care and services to the elderly and those with disabilities. You know what? Protect the elderly. I'm totally fine with this. If my tax dollars are going towards helping people in life, you know what? Fine. I respect my elders. I would like to know that we are taking care of our citizens. You know, that's fine. Granted, it could be taken advantage of. Any of these things could probably have an argument that they're going to be taken advantage of, but on the surface level, it seems legit. Providing funding to expand the child's health insurance programs permanently, which helps states provide low-cost health coverage to children and families that earn too much to qualify for Medicaid. Okay, helping the kids. I'm down for that. Addresses a funding shortfall in the World Trade Center health program by providing $2.86 billion to the program. I mean, it seems like a lot of money, but I don't really know how it's divvied up. Who knows? But if this is for the World Trade Center health program for the people that actually I don't know if it's firefighters or what that actually entails. So I'm just going to continue on. Provides $36 billion to infrastructure and funding for public health departments to construct and modernize health facilities and expand capacity for training. Okay, as long as the training isn't woke, okay, that's good. And who doesn't want nice, clean, updated hospitals for our citizens? Sounds good. Allocates more than $15 billion in pandemic preparedness investments, including strengthening supply chains, supporting vaccine manufacturing, and bolstering the strategic national stockpile. Now, this I do not like. Okay, and I've got to be very careful about how I explain this, because I'm going to be talking about this in a little while. YouTube is cracking down on any sort of misinformation. Now, I've been paying attention to the news for over a year and a half, since essentially the beginning of the pandemic, right? And one thing that I've seen is hospitals get more money the more cases that they report. Okay? And that, I've been saying, any of these can be taken advantage of. Well, that seems to be the thing. I'm not saying it's true. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I don't trust that. $15 billion in pandemic preparedness investments. Okay, what does that mean? Who are they investing in? Where's that money going? Right? That I don't trust. I want that to be laid out more transparently. Drug pricing changes to allow Medicare to negotiate lower prices. The measure failed to advance from the Energy and Commerce Committee on Wednesday after 3 Democrats joined Republicans in opposing it. Although the plan can still advance to vote in the House, the Congressional Budget Office provisions would slash federal spending by nearly $500 billion over the next decade. House leadership says the legislation is still cornerstone of the spending package. Or maybe, bear with me now, Joe Biden re-implements the executive order that Donald Trump put in last, I think it was September, maybe August of 2020, that stopped these drug companies from spiking all their prices. Donald Trump took care of that, and Biden got rid of it. Now the Democrats are fighting to re-implement it in a different way with their name on it, claiming that it's, this is what the people need. It's like, well, then why did Biden get rid of it in the first place? See, these Democrats, they want to have all the control. They want the glory, and they can't give Trump anything. He already solved it. He wrote the executive order that handled this already. Medicare to negotiate lower prices. Everyone got lower prices. This is just talking about Medicare. When Trump had it so that no drug company, Big Pharma, was like, wait, what about our profits? Trump's like, American people, all right, before your profits. Deal with it. Well, Biden got rid of that, of course. All right, moving past medical, we got transportation. Provides $10 billion in funding to support the planning and development of public high-speed rail projects. Okay, about time. We're way behind. I mean, look at China. They're building high-speed rails all over their country. Provides $10 billion to expand service areas and increase services in low-income and disadvantaged part of the country. Okay, I don't really know what that means, but sounds decent on the surface. Proposes $3.95 billion in competitive grants to reconnect communities divided by existing infrastructure barriers and benefit disadvantaged communities, and $6 billion for surface transportation projects. Right. I vaguely recall Pete Buttigieg calling our highways racist. That's right. He was calling our highways racist by saying the people in the low-income housing have been disenfranchised, marginalized by highways. Well, I'm sorry, Pete Buttigieg. In fact, it was the government. It was the government creating low-income housing, creating huge welfare programs that keep people stuck in those situations and not helping people bolster their own lives and move away from being attached to the government. Now they were stuck in these zones that they're claiming were racist. Well, hey, guess what? Those were the Democrats that did that. My. $1 billion for investment in projects using low-emission aviation technology or produce, transport, or blend sustainable aviation fuel. Okay. Yeah, we should be moving to a better fuel source, I guess, a more environmentally friendly fuel. Sure. Okay. I could get behind that. Would allocate $1 billion for climate resilient infrastructure construction and improvements for the Coast Guard, $788 million for a new polar security cutter, and $350 million for a new icebreaker for the Great Lakes. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, all right. I mean, I'd like to see what they're talking about. Look at over at in Asia, like these green buildings that they're building. They're beautiful. I mean, I think it's Hong Kong is one of, so many of their buildings are covered in trees and stuff. It's beautiful. In fact, funny enough, I lived in New York for a long time. One of the few buildings that has trees implemented it is the Trump Tower in New York. And that was built in the late 70s, 79, 78? Maybe it was 81. I don't know. In between that span of 4 years, in the 1980 beginning, whatever. Covered in trees. Beautiful. I would love to have green buildings. Nothing wrong with that as far as I'm concerned. Let's see. The Maritime Administration would receive $2.5 billion for grants to support supply chain resilience, reduce port congestion, and develop offshore wind infrastructure. Okay. I mean, wind energy is not very effective. Okay, I've been learning about green energy. It's not the most reliable. It's just not. It's, I think, under 10%, way under 10% of our national energy source. It's not enough. We can't fuel our lives on wind energy or solar energy. There needs to be something better, a new energy source. I think nuclear is absolutely the way forward, but everyone doesn't want that because it's very efficient. Very, very efficient. Anyway, here comes the climate, environment, and energy. In a broad sense, the spending package is meant to have the United States generate 80% of its power from clean energy sources and cut carbon emissions in half by 2030. Now, you heard what I just said, right? About how it's we're not even getting 10% from green energy, from clean energy sources. What is clean energy source in their viewpoint? It's I don't know. I don't see that happening by 2030. Hold on, especially because we have to go to China for most of the stuff. China has 80% of the world's battery productions. The lithium, we're going to be tied to China? No, we need to be independent. I mean, we were energy independent for the first time in decades because of President Trump. But now suddenly he's cut it. That Biden has. He's cutting. Now he's like asking other countries to send us oil. It is absolutely insulting. The Government Services Administration would receive $1 billion in convert buildings management, or managed or owned by the administration, into high-performance green buildings. Oh, convert them. I see. Okay, so the government would get $1 billion to upgrade all of their buildings to green buildings, high performance. I mean, all right. All right, sure. Government gets new stuff. Sure. Provide $150 billion for Clean Electricity Performance Program. The program requires electric providers to increase the percentage of clean energy given to customers by 4% year over year. Providers will be given grants if they meet the goal and fined if they fall short. So this whole energy thing, it's a problem because they're blindly making these statements and not having any real answers to give the providers. They just want to just say, we're going to do clean energy. We're going to get off of fossil fuels. We're not going to ban fracking. We are going to ban fracking. I don't know. Biden's got to make up his mind. But from what I know and understand, green energy is absolutely not viable at this moment. Okay, now I had the orbital assembly guys on my show months ago, last year. And they were talking about how they were planning on making geosynchronous solar arrays that would be sending energy down to the planet from gathering energy from the sun. Now, of course, that's incredibly dangerous. It could be taken over by bad guys. Insert, scary Bond movie where they take all of them, hack into them, and burn the planet alive or something crazy, But it is possible. They are looking at it. So we'll see. I don't know. I think we need a new engine. We need I don't have the answers to this, and it bugs me because I would love to have a response. Well, what would the better option be? I don't know. But combustible engines are not it. It's just what we've been using. We're stuck on it. I think we need a new engine. Something based on magnets, magnetic energy. I think that's the key. Working gravity, using and manipulating gravity. Obviously, I'm way out of my league, but I believe that's the way we need to figure out. We need to figure out how to use gravity as a power source, and once we do that, and then I was going to say the sky's the limit, but it's bigger. The space is the limit. Okay, let's move on. Provides $13.5 billion in spending on electric vehicle infrastructure to support an electric vehicle charging network. Okay, but this is another thing so the whole electric vehicle thing too, it's not better. It's still digging into the earth now for completely different materials. We're going to Greenland to totally mine that to hell. Excuse my language there, but that's really what they're doing now. Now Australia has a bunch of lithium. Greenland has a bunch of lithium. They're going to be mining it for different stuff, rare earth minerals for all these different electric vehicles that are now replacing what we've been using. It's a whole new market for these people to capitalize on. Why do you think Bill Gates is a part of a $1 trillion deal with Greenland to mine Greenland? Yeah, this is happening. They're just replacing one thing for another. We're still gouging Earth for her minerals. I thought that they were talking about not doing that anymore. No, they don't care. They just want to sell us the next product. That's what it is. Anyway, so an infrastructure that would support it, yeah, right? We're obviously moving there, but I don't think that's the answer. Provide $5 billion to replace some heavy-duty vehicles, such as buses, school buses, and trash trucks with zero-emission vehicles. Invest $9 billion towards transmission improvement to electrical grids. That I can get behind. Provides $17 billion to help decarbonize federal fleets and buildings. The government is just getting all new buildings, all new cars, all new everything for themselves. My. Let's see, puts $18 billion towards home energy efficiency and appliance rebates to reduce energy usage. All right, where would that even go? Rebates. All right, allocates $27 billion to local, state, and nonprofit climate institutions that support developing low emissions and zero emission technology. At least 40% is planned for investments in disadvantaged communities. Provides $30 billion to remove and replace lead service lines. Good. Provide $10 billion for superfunded site cleanup. Is that like to pick up all the trash off the ground? Because I'll tell you what, I've traveled around a lot in my life. I've lived in Europe throughout the past 2 decades, and there is so much trash in America. There is just trash everywhere. I've been to Canada. I've been to Mexico. Like, I remember, going to Mexico when I was a kid. I'm like, oh man, like, you driving through the countryside in Mexico, it feels like they're, a shadow of their former self. But there was no trash. I didn't remember seeing trash. And I've been to Mexico a lot throughout my entire life. I've lived in Arizona. I lived in California. And there's no place that I've seen more trash than here in America. And it's really sad. In fact, in New York, I watched my own neighbor empty her car out of trash by just pulling the trash and throwing it on the ground. Just dumping trash. I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, what is this? This is insane. So, cool. Now we're going to spend $10 billion to clean it up. I don't know. We'll see. All right, next is technology. Provides $10 billion in grants for next generation 911 services to make them more accessible and efficient. Okay, that's a lot, but we got it across the whole country. Grants the Federal Trade Commission $1 billion to create and operate a new bureau to combat privacy violations, identity theft, and data security incidents. A new bureau of the federal government. Great. I want less government, not more, but okay. Provides $4 billion to ensure students, teachers, and schools have internet connectivity and devices to bridge the homework gap. All right. Or we could just wait till SpaceX finishes their whole satellite network and just use that. But okay. Provides $10 billion to monitor and identify threats and vulnerabilities in critical manufacturing supply chain. Okay, that sounds like important. Immigration allows 8 million undocumented dreamers, they say, who came to the country as children, undocumented, essential workers, and those in temporary protective status program to apply for permanent residency. It has yet to be seen if the Senate parliamentarian will allow immigration measures into the final bill through the reconciliation process, which is intended to pertain to budgeting. Now, it doesn't say how much they were going to put into here, but it's just simply saying it's allowing these 8 million undocumented dreamers, of course, dreamers. And how many of these people are pouring over the border right now? I don't know. Revenue measures. The proposal has a menu of tax options to pay for the hefty spending package that targets corporations, perceived tax avoidance loopholes, and income of the wealthy. The combination of tax codes shakeups will raise nearly $2.1 trillion, the nonpartisan Joint Committee of Taxation estimates. It's interesting, too, because when asked, Jen Psaki said, well, someone asked her, hey, so traditionally, when the government raises the taxes of the corporations and employers, all the rich people, the elites, whatever, it always ends up raising the taxes or the prices of things that normal consumers buy. Thus, raising the tax, raising the everything for regular people. And she goes, well, the fact that they do that is absurd and insulting. Yeah, but they do that. What do you think's going to happen if you raise the taxes on all these big corporations? They're just going to raise the price of all of their products to offset how much they have to spend. Right? They're not just going to pay more out of their profits. No, they're going to raise the prices on everything to match and be able to pay for the tax to continue their bottom line. And then I got to bring this up. This is just insane. So this is President Biden tweeting out. I don't know if it's him or not. Who knows? He tweeted this out. My Build Back Better agenda costs $0. Okay. Everything I've been reading to you right now is his Build Back Better agenda. All those billions and billions of dollars for all those different allocations that I've been reading to you guys. He's here saying it costs $0. What? How, sir? Instead of wasting money on tax breaks, loopholes, and tax evasion for big corporations and the wealthy, we can make a once-in-a-generation investment in working America. And it costs $0 to the national debt. $0 to the national debt. Then why do you need to raise the debt limit? The debt ceiling? They're fighting because the Republicans are like, we're not going to raise the debt ceiling. The Democrats are like, we need to so we can spend money. Okay, they're spending money. Somehow they're claiming that it costs nothing. And of course, Biden's team is getting ripped apart by it as economically illiterate. And they are. It's a ridiculous notion. You know the phrase, you got to spend money to make money? Okay, it holds true, right? You can't like build a business without like putting some effort into it. Time is money, so you know you can put time into it and you maybe start getting some money back, and then you can reinvest that into yourself. Well, that's really where his logic lies. In fact, PolitiFact came out. Can Joe Biden's agenda really cost $0? A guide to the bills and numbers. Now, I'm not gonna read this to you guys. I've went ahead and checked it out. It's basically saying that by doing this, by spending all of this money here, we're going to be getting this tax dollars that will then pay for all of that. So eventually we'll get that money back. You think we're going to get that money back? What? I'm sorry. No. Government programs last forever. They're going to spend more money. They're going to make more welfare. What about these $8 million or 8 million people that are coming in? You know they're going to have to be in the welfare system. You know they're going to need low-income housing because they are going to need some place to live, right? Where are they going to live? I don't know. Somewhere. And the government has to provide. And where does the government get their money? From me. From you. So we're paying for it. It doesn't cost $0. That is misinformation. That is, I mean, this is a lie. This tweet. This is a lie. Look, this is hilarious. This is from James Lindsay. He says, the Great Reset is as simple as 2 + 2 = 5. Yeah, exactly. Of course, Siraj has put him on the list. I love his list. He's great. He actually recently put himself on the list, but that is besides the point. This is what really annoys me. So there is so much more. I am scratching just the surface of what's in this bill, right? It's 2,700 pages long. There's so much more in it. Now, I read this today from the Federalist. This pisses me off. Democrats' latest $3.5 trillion spending spree includes $1.3 billion bailout for the media. That's right, you heard it. The media. They're going to be bailing out the media. Several weeks ago, let me just get to it. The program would provide a credit of up to $50,000 annually for each local news journalists on staff, subsidizing half of the wages in the first year and 30% for 4 years thereafter. The bill defines local news journalist as someone who works at least 100 hours each quarter, during which time each individual regularly gathers, collects photographs, records, writes, or reports news or information that concerns local events or other matters of local interest. Sorry, what are we doing with billions of dollars, over $1 billion? We're giving it to the media? We're going to be giving tax dollars to the media. Okay. This sounds like a payoff. It sounds like they're paying them for maybe the propaganda that they've been having them push since 2013 when it became legal to propagandize American citizens. I talk about it a lot. It's the Smith-Mundt Act. It was snuck into the NDAA. 2013. Yeah, insane. Over $1 billion in bailout funds to media organizations. That's insane. Our national debt is $28 trillion right now. $28 trillion. How are we going to pay for that? It costs zero. We've got a president sitting in office right now who believes spending trillions of dollars costs nothing. It costs nothing. It costs $0. His words. Crazy. He's crazy. My Build Back Better agenda costs $0.